Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of The Pastor's View. This is a safe space to talk about faith, real life, and the culture. I'm your moderator, Doreen, and to my left, we have Pastor Chris, and to his left, we have Pastor CJ.
Hey, episode 5. Let's do this.
Let's go. How are y'all today?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, we glad you came to check on us, man. She's supposed to be on the show. What happened?
Just some stuff. I'm here now. Whenever you need me to fill in,
out
I'll
our
be here.
business.
Yeah. She paused with it.
Yeah.
All right. So y'all ready to talk about spiritual growth?
Yeah.
All right. My first question. How would you tell a person to deal with generational curses?
Generational curse.
I think first you have to recognize the pattern.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, because all it is passed down conversations.
Boy.
That's all generational curses is. Every generation pass a unhealthy conversation down. It's the same conversation, but it's the same. So the family gets caught in a pattern. That's why when you see one person, like I started paying attention in my church. I said, okay, if that's on the daughter, that's probably on the mama. Found out it's on not just the mama, but the grandmama. It's conversations that somebody didn't put a stop to. So once you realize it, wait a minute, I'm repeating the same patterns. A lot of people ask me what happened in my life, why it looks the total opposite of where I came from, because I rejected the conversation. I rejected the pattern. And I started doing something opposite because I was like, okay, if this is the product of that conversation of what they're talking about, what they're putting on the inside of me, whether it's you ain't got enough, we can't afford to live over there, you'll never be this, we can't do this, we can't. So a lot of doubt is passed down, a lot of habits are passed down, and it's like coping mechanisms being passed down. And until you realize what's happening to them, you'll never break it. But when your eyes open and you start paying attention, wait a minute, that's been happening for some generations. Let me reject that conversation.
That's good.
Let me reject that mechanism. And a lot of times when you get ahead of it, the people you're closest to will reject you, because now you're breaking the pattern of, no, this is what it's supposed to be. This is how we're supposed to live. You getting ahead of what we set on the family. So sometimes some in your family dislike you simply because your confidence is not what theirs was told to be. You're achieving what some are not achieving. All you did was you broke the pattern. You say, I refuse to live that pattern. That's all it is. So I tell anybody, watch the pattern. If you see the same thing on the past generations is getting on you, you're repeating an unhealthy conversation.
That's good. That's good. First of all, I look at it like this. You cannot treat what you do not acknowledge.
That's good.
When you going in a certain way, if you cannot acknowledge the fact that this is a problem, you think about more times than not, the single parent have kids. Their kids have kids out of wedlock. The grandkids have kids out of wedlock. You have to acknowledge that this is not right.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And 9 times out of 10, when you break the cycle, because those generational curses can go down sometime 3 and 4 generations, according to the book of Exodus.
Yeah.
It talks about that generational curses just fall. And it's really spiritual. Now there's a natural side to it, but then you got to understand, just like what he was saying about those conversations, where a conversation comes from a mindset.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? So when you have people who do not value certain standards is watered down. That's how you end up with generational curses.
Yeah.
You know, I got married, had kids out of wedlock, but I got married. And I'm trying to break that cycle with my family. And my daughter got pregnant, but she right her wrong. She ended up getting married. So my grandchild have both parents in the house.
Mhm.
So we're trying to correct that because I understood this is not right.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I would tell anybody who's dealing with generational curse, you have to first acknowledge the fact that whatever that curse may be, that this was in my mama, my grandmama, my great grandmama.
Mhm.
It's gonna stop with me. And you can stop it. Even though it's a natural thing and a spiritual thing, but you can stop it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was kind of looking through my immediate family, man, and it was more of us. We didn't graduate. My dad used to say, I dropped out at 16.
Yeah.
So this has been put in my head. This is my goal now.
Yeah.
You can just get to 16, then the court system can't do nothing no more.
Can't do that.
So my goal was 16. So when I saw my sister reach the goal of 16, she left. She the knee baby, I'm the baby. So when she left, I was like, oh, I'm leaving school next year.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
ain't thinking about graduation because the curse is 16.
I'm out of here.
I'm gone. So that one got me. I didn't graduate because that's what was put on me. But with my children, like you said, I woke up and recognized it. And I said, all of my children gonna graduate.
Uh-huh.
So now we're working up. We got 2 of them graduated, got another one graduating this year. But in my family, only one of us. So the curse was there, even with credit wise. Don't get credit cards. Don't get this.
Yeah.
They telling you only from their perspective
From
of
their
what was put in
perspective.
them. So I was going down that road too. And then when I finally got one when I was like 18, I got to discover, I never forget, had $1,000 on it. You know, you're 18, yo, $1,000, boy.
Boy,
You
you're a
think you
millionaire.
balling. Oh, boy. I thought I was balling, man. Spent it all up.
What's it? Put it on this.
Just put it on there. And I started waking up to, wait a minute, this stuff don't work. So either I can keep repeating this,
You this cycle, yeah.
and I was told even coming up too, don't warehouse jobs pay all the money. So my goal for a job was warehouse, but I couldn't keep one.
Yeah.
Like everywhere I go, they'll be like, it can be through a temp server. They'll be like, we don't want him to come back. I don't know what it was. I ain't like them either, to be honest. But I didn't fit in. So I'm like, well, okay, this stuff is what's being told, but this stuff don't work for me.
Yeah.
So that must mean, like I tell the church, and my leader tell us, just because you didn't come from wealth, don't mean wealth can't come from you.
You better say it.
I'm gonna break that whole pattern. I'm gonna break that whole curse. Cause I grew up, I used to see, this always stuck with me, riding on them regular church vans we used to have. And my name, because I'm named after my daddy.
Mhm.
So I could tell my mama pick us up around the corner, they're gonna still see my name. Can't miss it. We riding these regular church vans and I never forget just seeing people of other race pass by us in nice cars, passing by nice houses. And I used to say as a child, why they get that and we can't?
And we can't.
Why they get to have that car and we riding in this rusty car? And the older I got, it was make healthier choices. That was it. Reverse life taught, the negatives taught me in life. It wasn't a voice, it wasn't a training. That's why I tell people I came from the dirt. I just looked at the negatives and said, I will not repeat that.
Mm-hmm.
My church is healthy now because my dad's church was unhealthy.
So you acknowledged it.
I acknowledged it. Yep. First thing my sister said when I started my church, she said, CJ, church ain't gonna be like our dad. I learned from it. And I'm like, man, if that's what church is, I don't want to do, I ain't want nothing to do with that.
She said, I don't want to do nothing like that.
So it's learning from the negatives. That's what I did, man. And it shifted my whole life.
I have a question. It's one thing to talk about the generational curse, but when are we going to get bold enough to confront the generational curses? Let me tell you what I mean. Why would we follow the dad or the pastor that it seems like it's taken us 20 and 30 years to reach goals? Like you said, you saw an unhealthy church, but yet he had followers.
Yeah, he had.
People followed him.
Had a few.
You know what I'm saying?
Probably 10.
But even though it was 10,
Yeah.
it was 10 people following somebody.
Yeah.
The church is unhealthy.
Yeah.
And one thing we have now is we have people following people. You know, you talked about this in the first, I think, episode or second. You said, I ain't following nobody. Ain't got no fruit.
Yeah.
We've gotten to a place now that you have people that follow folks because they're loyal.
Absolutely.
But that folks ain't got no fruit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you know that they're losing church after church.
Oh my God.
They can't keep that going. Their personal life don't exemplify what they're trying to teach.
Absolutely.
But yet you have people keep following.
I think you said the word loyalty.
Loyalty. Wow.
Sometimes people who are loyal to you will follow you to hell. No, it's unhealthy. That's even in a relationship. You know I'm in an unhealthy place. But my loyalty makes me stay more than the health of my own life. So they'll stay in that thing because they loyal, man. I be watching that stuff too. Like, how in the world is they in that? There's a lot of people who cheese have rolled off the cracker. You know what I'm saying? And they know that thing is a bit. I guess they perceive. I don't know. And some of them have to wake up. But yeah, I see it all the time, man.
You know. But now I can say there was one in my family led a ministry, but I found out all of them have something in common. They become great manipulators.
Oh my God.
Great manipulators. In other words, they get to a point where they know it's unhealthy and ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
God's hands probably not on it.
Yeah.
So they become manipulators with saying stuff like, you know, you're going to be blessed, you stay with me.
Are you going to die if you
Yeah. Or life ain't going to go right for you if you leave me. You know what I mean? So they become great manipulators. They don't really know how to father, that's in the natural family, or the spiritual house. You get what I'm saying? Because if I go to a planting field and I plant crops, all things being equal, sooner or later, it should not be 10 years and I don't see no stalk, no fruit, no tree.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say the apple tree got to have apples on it within the first couple of years.
Yeah.
But after a while, I should see some apples.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if there's no fruit, you know, I said the loyalty, and I think that's really what it is that cause people to continue following somebody who ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. That thing, that's just because you said manipulation. We had this guy named Minister. I ain't gonna call him because he deceased. But them jokers, we ain't give what they want us to give. They'll tell her, when you leave church, a tornado gonna pull your car and blow it up in the air. It's gonna drop you down in your house. It's gonna tear your whole house up. So they'll scare you into everything. When the grace of God is not on it, you got to manipulate.
You got to manipulate.
Yeah. But if God is in it, you don't have to manipulate.
You don't have
man.
to do it.
You don't have to do it. Just give them the vision and it'll happen.
You know, and it's funny. You know, even when I go to a ministry or go to a church, I can tell there's no discipline by the way that they do offering.
Yeah,
I can tell.
absolutely.
Because when you get to the point where you're trying to pull something out of people, or you saying stuff like, now watch this, you came to church with whatever in your mind to give, whether it be your tithes, offering, whatever it be. But when I get to the point where I'm constantly on the spot trying to pour more out of you than what you have purposed in your heart to give, well, guess what? What type of budget I'm preaching or trying to keep you on, because we ain't pretty much ain't operating off no budget.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got that guy or that woman who stands up, and every Sunday they want you to go above and beyond what you have purposed in your heart. Well, I got a budget. You get what I'm saying? I got a budget. The Bible budget. If the Bible tells you 10%, that means how do you manage the other 90? It's not telling you to have management here, but then don't give you the management on the other 90.
Yeah.
So when I go to a ministry, I don't have to spend a whole lot of time there. I can just listen at the way that they do the offering and can tell, oh, this church ain't got no discipline.
Anybody with discernment, every human, I pray, anybody who watched this podcast, pray for the discernment. When I saw you, I heard the Holy Spirit say so in his ministry. Because there's grace there. There's some guys come tell me I'm starting a ministry. I ain't put my seed on no shallow surface, no footpath.
But it was about 30 minutes after you came and saw me.
Yeah.
First thing he did went in his pocket.
Yeah.
He said, hey, man. Hey, he wrote a check and ripped it off. Here you go. Hey, man, I'm getting in on this.
Discernment. I can discern it. And everybody needs to pray for discernment. Yeah. And then in another way, I know we on something else, but another way you recognize them type of churches, they got a revival around income tax time every year.
Wow. Ain't that something?
They gonna be mad at me. I just gave them away then.
Hey.
We have the 10-day revival.
You ain't fooling back and took them down.
Hey, we taking down payments and everything till you get your taxes. God said, yeah.
you know, and I'm gonna say this. I know we going down another road, but
just keep going. I guess.
When grace is on your ministry, you really don't have to be begging.
Absolutely not.
You get what? All you got to do is talk vision.
Yeah.
And listen, and people will give.
Yeah.
Right.
People give. He just did he's doing a project now that he was, raising money, but he reached the goal.
Yeah.
You got some folks that do goals, they don't come close to it.
Yeah.
And they do all the begging. I watch him. I had to ask him, hey, when is that again? Because he ain't mentioning no more. You get what I'm saying? So I wasn't even able to almost trace it. He show up that Sunday, boom, get it. And guess what? That was the same Sunday that you had your birthday thing.
So yeah.
And guess what?
Yeah.
And they weren't competing with each other.
So it wasn't. Yeah.
It's just when you get around healthy people and healthy church, it flows so much different.
Yeah.
It flows so much different.
And we raised that. And in leadership meeting, somebody else gave another 1,000 this past Saturday. So we went over without no begging, no manipulation, no games, no tricks, no money lines. I got a word if you give me. No, I heard God tell me your account number. No, I know your name, so give me your money.
None of that.
None of that.
And in the great words of Dr. Casey Fred Price, no chicken had to lose his life.
Come on, man.
No chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah.
that was good. That was good. I also think it's the teaching of the principles because we were all excited about Super Sunday and to see it take place before our eyes right now. Like the building is taking place right now.
Yeah.
So we believe in the vision.
That's and you know what? That's the other side.
Yeah.
Saying we got a building project, but we don't put down new carpet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
the man and woman gonna have to keep their credibility that when they say this is what the money is for, you can't take that money and do something else with it.
Mm. Mm.
If we say we're gonna add on, hey y'all, we got to add on.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
You may have to raise another offering for whatever it is that then popped off,
Yeah.
but we got to do what we say.
Yeah.
We can't be, I saw on an envelope my whole young adult life building fund.
So
But I never saw one.
Seen
I
nothing
never
big.
saw one brick.
One. We saw some bricks on side. So did then.
So it's what I love about this podcast is that so we're not somebody sitting in the pew talking about the church and the pastor. No, we have churches
Absolutely.
and we're pastoring. So what I'm saying to you is I'm not gonna give you a break. I'm not even gonna give myself a break.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What you see in the pew, we see it too.
Absolutely.
And we acknowledging it.
Yeah.
That curse, because even you got some generational curses in the church.
Yeah.
It just keep going on and on and on. And guess what? It take real pastors, truthful pastors that can be real with themselves to break that curse.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. We went in on that. That was good. What are some practical ways to stay spiritually consistent when life feels overwhelming? So if you have someone who's trying to break those those generational curses and it becomes overwhelming, do you have some practical ways to stay?
Life is gonna life. Okay. You're either in a problem, coming out of a problem, or headed into a problem. That's life. Okay. What we have to learn is to live by faith and not feelings, right? Because your issues will present different feelings, different emotions. Faith says, I walk in principle regardless of what I feel. So my feeling can feel, but it won't be my instructor. My principles are my instructor. The more I walk in principle, my feelings will begin to follow the principle.
Yeah, line up.
Feelings shift, principles don't. Feelings are changing all day. You can be mad this morning and this evening you good. But so the problem is we follow feelings too much and it changes the principle. So some things you can put in place. First of all, you must follow the truth. What does the truth say about what I'm going through?
Wow.
Don't ever lose your worship. Don't ever lose your seek. Don't ever lose your walk with God. Getting the right circle around you, people who can recharge your battery when it's low. A lot of people, when they go through hard times in life, they withdraw, isolate. And I always tell my members or anybody, it's the worst thing you could do. The first question I asked them, I said, well, if somebody kills somebody, what they do to them? They said, put them in jail. I said, so you would have to admit that isolation is punishment.
That's good right there.
You got to admit that then.
Yeah.
So when you isolate, when you're going through, you're actually adding punishment to yourself because it's not good that man be alone. So you have to make sure that you continue to follow principle even though the issue got you out of your feelings, got you out of whack, because the principle ain't going to change. That principle going to stay right there.
Stay right
I don't care what's happening in your life, that principle going to stay right there. Keep reading, keep a thankful mind, keep a good circle around you, keep a good, church family, good friends who can encourage you, because we all have days where we need to be encouraged. The Bible says encourage each other daily. So that's what I would tell somebody. Just keep doing what you know is right until what's gone wrong, get back right. Before we walk by faith and not by sight. Yeah.
Pastor, I really like what you said about isolation is punishment.
Yeah.
And when you isolate yourself, you're actually doing punishment to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I'm gonna give you credit the first time I use it. But every time after then, it's gonna be mine.
Hey, you can have it.
Gotcha.
Preacher
I
told me,
just
the Holy
want you to know
Spirit
it, though.
told me.
You hear me saying it out there.
Preacher said the Holy Spirit gave it to me. I can't say it's mine.
But that is just so true. Now watch this. I understand depression is real. Okay. I understand sometimes we have mental challenges, something that's imbalanced.
Mm-hmm.
But I have never been able to understand how a person that's really in God got a daily devotion, they read their Bible, and they pray. I don't know how you stay sad. I don't know how you stay overwhelmed. Because even if I'm new in Christ, if I'm overwhelmed today and I keep talking to him, I shouldn't be overwhelmed next week or the week afterwards. A lot of times I have found people when they're constantly going through, constantly under pressure, this is a person who's undisciplined. They don't hear Christ. Because think about it. If I have a daily prayer, a daily confession, I'm spending quality time with God, I don't know how I wake up in a bad place.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm not telling you won't have bad days. I'm just telling you can't stay there.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible talks about in the book of Psalms, it says, in the presence of the Lord, there's fullness of joy. You cannot be in his presence and you always feeling heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say to somebody, I think you need to be truthful to yourself. Because you can fool me.
Right.
You can tell me you reading your Bible. You can tell me you in the Word. You can tell. But sooner or later, I keep watching you. The fruit that you give off, it's going to let me know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if I would tell a person, stay connected to a good, healthy church, stay connected to your pastor. And I don't think all your day is going to be full of being overwhelmed.
I think too, a lot of people have, speaking of the type what you talking about, especially a believer, okay, you know the word, you do the church stuff. A lot of people are religious but don't have relationships.
That's what it is. They're religious.
Because even if you listen at the book of Psalm, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Making me to lie down in green pastures. He leading me beside the still water. He restored my soul. Leading me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Walk through the valley in the shadow of death, I fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod, If you pay attention to the psalm, in the beginning, he's talking about God. But when he gets to the valley, he talks to God. So a lot of times people keep experiencing the valley because God is trying to show them there's some stuff in you that still needs to be worked out of you. And many people face the same situation over and over because it's easy to talk about God.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get in that valley, okay, I got to go talk to God again. So that's what's happening. And they'll face that same stuff over and over. And what God, all things work together for good, we know. In those tough seasons, God will still be saying, okay, let's build a relationship. Let's see, will you talk to me this time rather than maybe those drugs? or a new relationship. Will you replace are you gonna keep using substitutes for what you really need for this season? That's really, why a lot of people keep facing the same things, because they don't talk to God. Jesus said, if you can stay connected to me, I stay connected to you, you will produce. And many don't produce is because they find substitutes for when they're going through. And even you can pray all day, but a faith that's not tested ain't real. So when that faith is tested, what's in you will start coming out.
It's gonna come out.
So a lot of people, they are hearers only, not doers. And until you become a doer, you're going to keep going through that same season over and over, because God is trying to teach you new principle, how to move, you know what I'm saying? And the valley talk to me. And the valley know I still got you. God's just training us. That's all life is. Life didn't come to kill you. It just came to train you. That's all it is.
Sitting here and listening to you make that statement. When someone goes to get their driver license, if that teacher doesn't feel what you need to know,
start over.
You fail, right?
Yeah.
And you take that test until you what? Pass.
That's right.
Guess what? That's what's happening to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You're not going to go to the next level.
Yeah.
And you can't pass the test.
Yeah.
Trouble is going to come. I don't care if at your best. You're going to deal with life.
Yeah.
But guess what? The test is only going to prove what's inside of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And the thing to it is, you got people, it's so funny. I'm coming here today. I'm talking to a friend, and we're laughing, but we're laughing at you.
Okay.
As some of you said. He said, man, you heard Pastor CJ said. I said, what? He said, ain't never performers. And one thing performing does, it entertains.
Yeah.
Right.
Entertainment don't teach you. See, you can go to a training class and learn how to come out of that class and do whatever they're talking about. But when you go to a comedy show, it doesn't teach you how to tell jokes.
Correct.
You only laugh at them. And when you come out, you don't have some training. You just been entertained.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what happens a lot on Sunday morning.
Absolutely.
People are entertained because the person that's in front of you is performing.
Yeah.
So when you get in life, you're going to feel overwhelmed. Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 15 says this. God says, I give you pastors. Watch this though. That will feed you.
Yeah.
With knowledge and understanding. Most folks ain't being taught knowledge and how to understand it.
Yeah.
They being entertained because their leader is a performer.
So if you're being entertained, you can have knowledge and not know how to work it. Because that's where the understanding comes.
Wow.
I can talk about faith all day, but if you don't know how to work faith, it ain't
do
gonna
no
work
good.
for you.
It ain't gonna do no good.
It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. Yeah.
All right, that was good. Next up, Pastor's view on the culture. Y'all ready for this?
Let's go.
All right.
I think I'm
know.
ready.
Okay.
Depends on what part of the culture.
So I know we have Jodeci fans and Rick Ross. Is that right?
Yep.
Rick Ross. Okay. So if you had to build a Mount Rushmore of the most musically talented artists across any genre, who would you include? And what should matter most when choosing? Like their impact, longevity, influence, or legacy?
Man, don't get mad at me. But R. Kelly Man, that dude. That dude wrote half the 90s,
For a lot
got
of people.
hits after hit. I know his personal life is a little jacked, but the artist, the producer, the writer, the singer, I don't think nobody matched him to me. He would have to be number one.
Okay.
And that's and of course Jodeci. Him and Jodeci is a pop up, 1 and 2. Jodeci can be on top some days. They just didn't have as many hits as R. Kelly. So it would have to be R. Kelly, Jodeci. What is it, 4? Michael Jackson was a genius. I mean, this guy was just a genius. He was a perfectionist. And then Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye was a writer, producer. That would have to be my Mount Rushmore.
I like Rick Ross. But I don't listen to him all the time. You get what I'm saying? They asked something about me that people probably didn't know. Well, that's one of them. I can listen to Rick Ross, but I don't listen to him all the time. If I had to choose 4, it's crazy. You don't hear about this guy a lot, but this guy really ministers to me, and that is William McDowell. William McDowell.
Man, don't leave me out there. You don't want to choose somebody from gospel. Got me looking all
No.
like
And then
the street pastor.
and then
McDowell,
another person that I think is just a genius, and he's like R. Kelly. He wrote for a lot of different people. And that's Babyface.
Oh man, Babyface bad boy.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Another person I like that I think she's a lady that's really good to me. Now, I don't mention her a lot, but that is someone that I grew up in the 80s listening to, and that's Anita Baker.
Oh, man.
And then the last person would be Rick Ross. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Rick Ross.
You put Rick over Pop and Biggie?
Oh, yeah. And let me tell you why. It's what he's talking about now.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Those guys really didn't talk about wealth.
You don't think Biggie did?
Oh, not like Rick Ross.
Okay.
A lot of folks, you ever heard of Vasia? You know what that is? You know what that is? Went and bought a Vasia. You know what that is? That's a painting.
Okay. Okay, so he kind of in Jay-Z lane.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they talk about, so I don't like all kind of rap.
Yeah.
Some rap just puts you in a place and it caps you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice what's hot right now is, and it's bad, and I like it too though. But when you look at all of the sitcoms that's out there now, that's really hot, everybody talking about drugs and killing.
Yeah.
How? 50 Cent haven't made one movie that didn't involve drugs, and he just repositioned it. Yeah. And guess what? We're going to sit there in front of that TV and we're going to look at it. Every show BMF, drugs killing. Power, drugs killing. The one with Tommy, drugs and killing. He haven't made a movie yet that didn't include that, but guess what? The ratings are high.
Oh, yeah. It's sales.
And we looking at it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then when Tyler Perry make a movie, we critique it. We're talking about, I ain't like that movie. Well, 50 Cent made 4 or 5 on them.
Yeah.
And you say you like all of them.
Yeah.
So we can say we like better, but like Charles and White said, no, Charles and White said, I ain't become famous till I started talking crazy. He said, I was an advocate in the community for years. No one knew my name. But when I get on these couches and start talking about you and talking crazy and cursing, he said, guess what? Everybody didn't book me. Because that's what they want to hear.
So that he just talked crazy. I didn't know.
See that? He's a family man.
Okay. But I didn't know who he was till the guy, Gerald Houston, went and hugged him. Said, man, I thought you was Shamar. I ain't no Shamar. I didn't know who Charles guy was. He was like, what's up, Shamar?
If y'all listen to him, he will tell y'all this is an act. Someone said, Charles, we don't like your deliverance. He said, y'all heard Gucci Mane? He said, you heard Future? He said, my delivery. They talking about popping this and you and your kids riding listening to it. And because I come on here and say something and you don't like the delivery, you want to come at me. He said, man, y'all black folks, something else.
Yeah. So you like Ross because the message that's kind of how I am. That's why I would like Tupac.
Yeah.
Biggie. It would always be Pac over Biggie, but I like both of them. And Jay-Z. You know, when I heard like different wealthy people talking about Jay-Z last album, 444, and I'm listening at this guy, and he's saying stuff, what's the difference from being at a strip club and something?
Credit.
Y'all flashing money on IG. We don't call it money over here. Boy, come on, man. Can we flash? If I'm gonna flash anything, it's gonna be a credit card. I ain't flashing no money.
What he said? He said, I bought a painting worth
$1 million. Today is worth what? Was it 25 or 8 million?
8 million. I can't wait
to get it to my children, man. Come on. See, that's what I'm into. See, I ain't know Rick Ross because I ain't never really got on Rick Ross like that.
Man.
Okay.
And you know, and then I love the entrepreneurship in Rick Ross.
Yeah.
The man owned over 60 Wingstops.
Golly. Okay.
He got this slippery soap, this car wash thing. Guess where it's at now? It's in every AutoZone.
What? Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So the guy, he hood, but he understand, hey man. And what he did was when he started buying Wingstop, he took his mama and his sister and hired someone to mentor them how to run the restaurants. So now they run all of the restaurants.
Wow.
So he's no longer giving money, but they can make money.
Yeah, that's good.
You get what I'm saying? So he's creating a lot of the shows now that you see on TV. Some of them is shot at his house.
Yeah, I heard that.
He let them rent his house out and shoot. They train some of the best horses in his pool. Put them in his pool and let them run in the pool. That trains them on how to do certain stuff. The guy got an entrepreneur. Hey, she started with a car show. It was small the first year. This is like the 5th year. Man, the thing is making money now where they didn't want to give him a license to have the cars in the streets and this and that. He have it all on his property and you don't need a license. But guess what? They said when that car show come to Atlanta, the city makes so much money. Hotels.
Yeah.
So to the point where they're recognizing, man, we should have been got behind him on this because where on that weekend, city might make $20 million just because he's having it. So that's why I like him.
Yeah. You kind of like me. Kind of gravitate to guys with that entrepreneur talk and mindset that, yeah, that's kind of why I relate to some of the guys.
That's good. But does he still make music, Rick Ross?
He did. He got an album now.
Oh, okay.
You got it ready to load.
Hey, look, and he's one of those guys. I have a business schedule, so that ain't something I can do all the time. But um, um, it's really gonna be crazy. I feel that me and him gonna do something in the future
I love it.
concerning these kids, because he'll be a great influence.
I love it.
You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I would love to do a community project to where we're out cleaning out neighborhoods, cleaning up the streets, getting all the trash out, doing all we can and then at the end of the thing, have a concert and invite him.
That's what, see, we man, that is so kingdom to me. Cause I always like, people ask me, how you feel about preaching to other people's church? I said, I really don't care. I got 2 churches, 2 services. I don't care if I get to go to anybody's church. I feel like the call on my life is bigger than the church.
Wow, man, come on.
I've always seen myself bringing people like you said in, get their audience, and I'm gonna preach at the end.
I'm gonna preach at the end.
I'm gonna reach them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care about bringing a secular artist in. Just bring me your audience.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we get to the end, I'm gonna hook you.
Mm-hmm.
I've always seen myself doing that
Yeah.
as it relates to traveling and So that's big.
Yeah. And to be like that, you really have to be in your own zone, in your own lane.
Yeah.
I
Know
ain't
your
talking.
target.
I ain't talking to a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I'm not sharing my dreams with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Because I've watched how you maneuver, and you fine with catching the same fish.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm no longer trying to win the church.
Recycle.
I'm trying to win the city.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I ain't trying to build something for myself. I'm gonna be wealthy. I mean, I'm gonna do the necessary things and investments that I have to do to have the kind of wealth that I'm gonna have. But so the church is just gonna benefit from it.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? So if that means connecting with Rick Ross and get 1,000 kids that I can minister on a Saturday, so be it.
Yeah.
See, I'm not. My mind is no longer just in the 4 walls.
Yeah.
It's beyond the 4 walls.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, man, I got some big plans and dreams that are going to include connecting with the community.
I always just tell people, if the church don't like what I'm doing good.
Yeah.
If the world likes it, I'm absolutely doing it. 'Cause I ain't trying to reach y'all.
Man.
The healthy don't need a doctor.
No.
The sick need a doctor.
Yeah.
When you know your target, y'all good. Y'all,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how I think too.
All right, so we talk music. Let's talk a little bit about an actor. So Michael B. Jordan, he just won his first Oscar
Mhm.
for his role in Sinners. Does this moment represent validation, legacy, or overdue recognition?
I would say overdue recognition for him.
Mhm. He been playing in a lot of movies, man, and he's good.
Yeah.
He's really good. You know, what I hate a lot of times is that the validation has to come from a very biased people.
Yeah.
And they're not really open to different. That how long Michael B. Jordan been around? What, about 20 years now?
Long time.
I know since he was a
You know,
kid.
you know what I'm saying? Since a kid. And to just being got that, I just hate that the people who do all the choosing and the judging It's the people that's up there. Because that's really where it comes from.
Mhm.
He probably been had the thing, but at this particular time, these people decided, okay, we're going to eventually give it to you.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I think it's overdue.
Yeah.
I do.
That's good. All right, next up, pastor's view on sports. All right, so you guys know with the NIL deals being the thing now,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that college players will stay in college and graduate, or do you think they'll move on to the NFL earlier?
It depends on your ambition.
Yeah.
Like if you want your education and you can make money getting it, you're gonna stay there.
Yeah.
If you just always dream of the pros and was just using school to get to the pros, you're gonna go on to the pros. You know, which you might get a little bit more attention with money in college. Because when you go to the pros, everybody on the same level and making more money than you. So it just depends on the person's ambition, I think.
I'm on both sides. If I was in college, was good, and then had the NIL money, I would go to the pros. But if I could make the NIL money in college, I would stay in college. Because when it all boils down, it's the money.
Yeah.
It comes down to the money. I wouldn't stay in college, have the opportunity to go to the pros and get hurt in college.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What we don't understand a lot of times about these athletes, man, these boys and girls, they're able to change the dynamics of their families.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if I was born and raised, I'm not quote unquote saying anything about it. I'm born and raised in Ensley or the rough side in Bessemer. I go to college. I'm a star in college, and someone wants to draft me, and it's gonna be a $6 million deal. What job I can work and go make $6 million?
Absolutely. Just to run with a ball.
You get what I'm saying? Watch this, but do something I like.
Absolutely.
I can't do nothing. Make 600,000.
Yeah.
Without somebody say, "Hey, go to your desk and sit down and, hey, get that report by." So,
Right.
of course, you know, but I think the NIL has changed the game.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? For the better.
But what you think about, you know, kind of like you said, the guys, you still got to worry about getting injured, staying too long, because if you projected to go number one, number two in your freshman year, would you take a chance to get injured though you get some money to stay another year?
In college?
Yeah.
No, I still go to the NFL. And the
Okay.
reason being, even if they're not offering me but 400,000
Mhm.
to go, what am I gonna make in college?
Yeah.
And still gonna play. I still had a chance of getting injured and never making it to this NFL.
Mhm.
I would go and really show myself strong. I take the 4, 5, 600,000, and next year try to renegotiate.
Yeah.
You know, but the whole thing of it is the money.
Yeah.
And if that was my son or my daughter, that deal was on the table, I say, hey son, listen, you playing a sport that one wrong play can change your life. You get injured, paralyzed, whatever. And if this is something that you want to pursue, go to the NFL. Make the money. You know. So
Yeah.
Make the money. All right. Next, so we have Cam Scatterboo. He's the New York Giants running back. And in a recent interview, he was saying that asthma isn't real and he'd rather have CTE than be broke. And so him saying that, like, his comments, it sparked conversation and he had to issue an apology. Should athletes be judged only by their performance on the field or also be held accountable for what they say?
I think it's gonna have to be both, because the more your name is known, you become a role model whether you want to be it or not. You know,
Yeah.
you garner fans and people. So whatever you say, you got to be very careful. You know, I'm smart enough to know not to talk about politics in church. I'm that smart. My personal convictions is that's at home.
That's it.
But in church, I know that because I'm a public figure, I could split my audience. You know what I'm saying? So it's certain we have to be careful when that spotlight get on you. But you're gonna be judged in you know what I'm saying, a certain way. And it ain't just gonna be in the pulpit. You can hear me say something on this show. You know, that's why a bunch of subjects I'm like, I ain't going there.
Yeah.
Because I understand, you know what I'm saying?
Ain't no forgiveness.
Yeah, you got a certain spotlight. You're gonna be judged at when you get the money, you get the spot. It comes with it.
Comes with it.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate.
it is.
It's unfortunate that this guy at the hood who started in Little League football or basketball, and they're really good at it because these guys did not actually become, or women actually become role models. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It just come with the territory. You get what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I'm trying to remember who. It's been about 10 years ago. This guy was really judged on being a role model, and he said, "I ain't never asked to be your child role model. His dad should be his role model."
Yeah, who was that?
I'm trying to remember who it was.
Yeah,
But he was like, "Yo, his daddy should be his role model,
Yeah.
not me." But because I can play football well, I got jerseys all over the place. Now you done made me your role model. But guess what? It just come with the territory.
I just give them much is required.
Yeah. It just come with the territory. You know, it's just like when people get online, say stuff over Facebook, and then get mad when folks chime in. Well, you probably should have kept
Put it
that to
out there.
yourself. Yeah. Because once you say this over this site, you open the door for all of us
Yeah.
to chime in. It's like what I was saying about 50 Cent and T.I. When 50 Cent started talking about somebody's mama, he opened the doors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, it's unfortunate that your mama dead.
Yeah.
But you open the door for me to talk about your dead mama.
Yeah. And what you can do is like just not have social media. You won't hear much of the noise. You won't deal with it, but you won't hear it.
You won't hear it.
I think one of the best things I did was we went on a Facebook fast probably 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
And I never wanted to go back on like I was.
Wow. Ain't that something?
So I stroll here and there, but I really don't look a lot. Once you fast from other people's opinions, it's so healthy, man.
Boy, that's good.
So when I came off there, probably 30 days, I think I remember. I don't even, if you look at my posts from then and now, you ain't gonna see a lot. You'll see some ministry stuff here and there, you know, stuff. But I'm really not intrigued no more.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's so funny, man. You can wake up at 2-3 in the morning and get your phone and look, and it's amazing of the people that's on it. And what I'm saying is, it seems like it's never a time that I click on it that I don't see they like. So this thing, and I'm saying to myself, man, so when do you pray?
Like the casino.
Yeah, when do you read your Bible? You know what I mean? Like, the chances of me coming on at any given time of the day or whatever day, and your green light is on, man, you on a lot. And I'm saying to myself, you cannot be efficient in your own life,
Right.
paying that much attention to other people's life. You know, so when I see that, I already know, good chance you probably ain't gonna do much.
Yeah. And definitely the folks who sending subliminals, when they found out you ain't even seen it or looked at it, like I wrote that for nothing.
You know, someone told me yesterday, they said, I got into it with somebody and they was talking about you. So, okay. I said, okay. When I leave here, I'm gonna go get something to eat.
Where you going? I'm gonna tell
You
you.
gonna go get something to eat, man. You know? So my thing to it is, I'm really not concerned about the things that most folks concerned about.
Yeah.
Public's opinion, the way they view. No, listen. As long as what God is telling me to do,
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it. And he is taking care of me
Mm-hmm.
from me being obedient. I don't care about the rest of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One thing I learned too is your problem with me will not become my problem with me. Like, that's your issue. That ain't mine. That's between you and you. What you say about, I don't care. That's not taking away or adding to my bottom line.
Listen, nothing.
Okay. Oh, they were talking about, okay. What you want me to say? My perception, with life is you can get even or you can get ahead.
I choose to get ahead.
I will not spend time, my energy, coming to where, because if I get even, I got to come to where you are.
Got to come to where you are. Got to come down.
Got to come down. I ain't coming there. So, that's how I look at it, man. I don't even give it my attention. No, some things are not even worth dignifying with a response.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
All right. Do we have any last statements?
The only thing I would tell people, hey, look, call your mama, your sister, your friends, everybody. Tell them to watch this podcast.
Yeah, man, that'll be good. Like, comment, share.
Tell them about the new thing we doing. Because we really want to hear from the public.
Yeah.
So if you would submit your question, me and Pastor, we'll talk about it. We'll give our view on it on the next podcast.
Yeah, put it on the screen, producer man.
That's good. So yes, share your questions so that you can hear from the pastor's view. And that concludes this episode.
Epic.